What's up, Soccer Nation? Welcome to YourSoccerMentor.com. My name is Adam, and today we're going to cover a whole bunch of endurance and stamina drills so that you guys can make sure that you're in the top, most fit players on your team and in any game that you play. When I actually went to college as a freshman, we had a thing called the Bear Test, and basically it was just a 5-mile run around campus, and I actually came in second place. I ran 5 miles in a little under 34 minutes, which was pretty good. The only guy that beat me was a senior who actually served in the Israeli military, and he was used to running 50 miles in the desert. So, I wasn't really upset that he beat me. But if you guys follow my advice, you can also be in the top tier of most fit college soccer players. So here we go. Now, for most of these endurance drills, we're going to be utilizing a change of pace because, as most of you guys know, in a soccer game, you're not going to be running the same speed the whole game. You're just going to be jogging or sprinting the whole time. So you want to emulate this when we train. So you want to make sure that you guys are getting a whole range of speeds in each drill that you do. And the first one's no exception. It's called the grid of death. And here's what it looks like. As you can see, I have 4 markers set up. You can use cones or whatever, but I have my shoes, my bag, my soccer ball, and the other cone right there. Now that I have these 4 markers set up in a square with the sides 10 yards apart, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one as a starting point. I'm going to jog around the grid. When I get back to that point, I'm going to sprint one side and jog 3. When I get back to the point, I'm going to sprint 2 and jog for 2. When I get back to the point, I'm going to sprint for 3 and jog 1. And then when I get back to the starting point again, on my 4th go around, I'm going to sprint all 4 sides. When I get back to the beginning, you just jog once, all the way around, and repeat the process. So here's what it looks like. Once you've completed the grid of death run, in other words, once you've run around the square 6 times, you want to rest for 45 seconds to a minute and then repeat. You want to repeat this drill 5 to 10 times. And that's the grid of death. This next endurance drill is pretty straightforward, and I'm sure you guys have probably done it before, but it's called the Shuttle Sprint. I've set up 5 different markers, and they're each 5 yards apart. So I'm going to start ahead of the first one, 5 yards ahead of the first one. I'm going to run to the first one, run back to the starting point, run to the second, back to the starting point, third, back, fourth, back, fifth, back. And that's one set. So here we go. You want to do at least 3 to 5 sets, and you can rest between 45 and 60 seconds between sets. And that's the shuttle sprint. Alright guys, This run is probably one of my favorites, but also one of the most grueling. It's called the Manchester United Test. And I was first showed this run back in high school. When I was in 10th grade, my coach made a bet with the whole team that no one could finish it, and if anybody did, he'd actually buy them lunch. And I was the only one to finish it. So it took him 2 years to buy me that lunch, but I finally got it. And today I'm going to teach you guys how to do the Man U test. You can either do this with 100 yards or 120 yards, depending on your fitness. I would say start off with 100 just to make sure you don't kill yourself, and once that becomes easy, increase the distance to 120 yards. You can see here I have two posts 120 yards apart on this goal post here, and hopefully you guys can see the other goal post down on the other end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run back and forth 20 times, okay? And each time I have 1 minute to get there and back. And as soon as that minute is done, I have to go again, okay? So you guys will need a stopwatch for this or some way to keep time. Like I said, you're going to run back and forth 20 times. The first 5 times that you run across, give yourself 25 seconds to run to the other side. So let's say you sprint and you get there really quickly. Let's say you sprint there in 15 seconds, then you can have a 10-second rest. But as soon as that 25 seconds is over, you have to jog back. And remember, you only have a minute to get there and back. So let's say you get there in 25 seconds, then you have 35 seconds to return. And as soon as that 35 seconds is done, you've got to go again, all right? After the first 5 sprints, your sprint time will go down by 1 second per jog across. So if the 5th time you have 25 seconds to get across, on the 6th time you have 24 seconds to get across. And the next time you have 23 seconds to get across. The next time, 22 seconds. Next time, 21 seconds. Now as the time to get across gets smaller, the time to jog back gets bigger. So let's say you're on the jog across that it takes you 20 seconds to sprint, you have a 40-second recovery time, okay? So if you do this correctly, on your 15th run across, you'll have 15 seconds to sprint to the other side and 45 seconds to get back. You're going to repeat that 5 times. So just to recap, you're going to go there and back 20 times. For the first 5, you have 25 seconds to get there, 35 seconds to get back. After you do that 5 times, the sprint notches down by 1 second and the return jog goes up by 1 second. So once you get to the point that you have 15 seconds to sprint across, you have 45 seconds to get back, and you're going to repeat that 5 times at the end. So that'll be 20 sprints in 20 minutes, and the first 5 are going to be a little bit easier, and the ending is going to be a little bit harder. And that's the Manchester United test. The next endurance test is pretty straightforward. All you're going to do is jog across the field. You're going to give yourself 20 seconds to jog across the field. You're going to rest for 30 seconds, and then jog back. You want to repeat for 10 to 15 runs. The next endurance drill is called the diagonal pitch run. Here's what you're going to do. Imagine this were a soccer field. You're going to start at one of the corner flags. You're going to sprint across the touchline or behind the goal. When you get to the other corner, you're going to jog at a 3/4 pace diagonally across to the other corner flag. When you get to that point, you're going to sprint again across the touchline on the opposite side. When you get to that far corner, you're going to jog diagonally again to reach the starting point. You want to give yourself about a 30-second rest and repeat approximately 5 to 10 times. The next endurance drill is called the perimeter run. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to find a soccer field or anything with markings, or you can mark it yourself. But pretty much you're going to jog across the touchline. Once you get to the corner flag, you're going to sprint to half field. And then once you get to that point, you're going to jog again to the corner flag. You're going to sprint across the touchline. Once you get to the far corner flag, you're going to jog again. And then you're going to sprint to finish it. So all you're doing is alternating sprints and jogs. And every time you come to a corner flag or the halfway mark, you're going to jog or sprint. You're just going to alternate. And all you're going to do is run around the perimeter of the field. You want to repeat this for 5 to 10 minutes. The next endurance drill is called the 18-yard box run. Here's what you're going to do. Go to a soccer field that has 18-yard box drawn, or draw one out yourself, and all you're going to do is jog across the small side of the 18-yard box, then sprint across the long side, walk again across the opposite small side, and then jog backwards along the far side again. So it's jog, sprint, walk, backwards jog. You want to repeat for 10 to 20 minutes. I put my flats on for this one because we're not running on grass anymore. We're actually on a track. Now if you live next to a high school or a college, you can just go use their track. And most generic tracks, you can generally say are going to be a quarter mile long. So this next run is called the Cooper test, and all you're going to do is run 2 miles. So if you're on a track, that's going to be 8 laps, and the time that you want to shoot for is less than 12 minutes. If you can get under 12 minutes for a Cooper test, you're doing really good. So if you're new to running or you're not that fit yet, just start off by doing the best you can. If you're doing under 15 minutes, that's pretty good, but once again, shoot for 12 minutes or under. If you want to improve your endurance, doing other things besides soccer and just running, because if you're like me and you hate just running to run, I can't stand it, then you can do other things that would be cross-training for soccer. It'll help your endurance, and it also will help you build muscle at the same time. So some of my favorite cross-training things to do to help me improve my soccer game are cycling, swimming, that's probably the best one for your endurance and muscle conditioning, rowing. Some of the best things you can do is actually skating. Inline skating is one of the best aerobic exercises you can do. It's also a great leg workout. Look into skateboarding, and if you live next to a mountain like I do, definitely go snowboarding. That's fantastic for soccer players. You can attest to this. If you live next to a mountain, you can play soccer all day, all year, and then go snowboarding and think you're in good shape, and all of a sudden you'll have muscles in your legs that hurt that you didn't even know that you had. So snowboarding is fantastic. Some sports that you can do are basketball, hockey, and also boxing. All fantastic for aerobic and anaerobic exercises. And then something that a lot of people don't normally do is you can just go run on the beach. I know it's not really a cross-training sport, but running on the beach is awesome for your calf muscles, and it's also just wonderful endurance training. And then also, one thing you can do that improves muscle endurance is yoga. Ronaldinho actually does yoga, so don't make fun of it. He's one of the best soccer players of all time, and if it's good enough for him, then it's good enough for you. There you go. Now you guys know a whole bunch of ways to improve your endurance and stamina. Now get outside and start running.